Imagine being 18 years old, full of life, with a bright future ahead of you. Now imagine you vanish one night, only to be found hours later struck by a train. But the evidence? It tells a very different story. This is the haunting case of Tiffany Valiante, and the fight to uncover what really happened. Was it suicide? Or was it something far, far darker? Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe if you love dark and mysterious stories. It helps the channel grow. Tiffany Valiante was an 18-year-old high school graduate from Mays Landing, New Jersey. She had everything going for her: a volleyball scholarship to Mercy College, a close-knit family, and an optimistic view of the future. She was outgoing, athletic, and excited to start college in just a few weeks. There were no signs, no cries for help, no hints of depression. Just a normal teen with big dreams. It was the evening of July 12th, 2015. Tiffany had just come back from her cousin's graduation party. At home, tensions briefly flared. Her parents confronted her about unauthorized credit card use. Upset, Tiffany went outside for a walk. She left without her phone, wallet, or shoes. It was 9:30 p.m. She never came back. Around 11 p.m., her parents reported her missing. Just under 2 hours later, at 12:45 a.m., Tiffany's body was discovered by a train conductor near Galloway Township. She'd been struck by a New Jersey transit train. Her death was almost immediately ruled a suicide, but the circumstances, they just didn't make sense. The location where Tiffany was found was remote, 4 miles from her house, with thick woods and a dirt trail leading to the tracks. Tiffany was barefoot. Her shoes, clean and without blood, were found over a mile away from her body. Her headband and phone were also located far from the tracks. And most bizarrely, her shorts were missing. They were never found. Who walks several miles in the dark, barefoot, with no phone, and ends up dead on train tracks with missing clothes? Investigators didn't seem interested in that question. They ruled the death a suicide, closed the case quickly, and moved on. But Tiffany's parents, Steve and Diane, refused to accept the ruling. They knew their daughter, and nothing about her behavior that night indicated suicidal intent. They hired forensic experts. They retraced her steps, and what they uncovered raised even more red flags. There was no suicide note. There were no signs of depression, no history of mental illness, and physically, it didn't add up. An 18-year-old girl, barefoot, walks miles through thick woods, then lays down on train tracks in the dead of night. To Tiffany's family, that wasn't just unlikely. It was impossible. Multiple forensic pathologists reviewed the case and questioned the cause of death. The trauma to Tiffany's body wasn't consistent with someone laying down in front of a train. Instead, some experts suggested she may have already been unconscious, or even deceased, before the train hit her. There was no rape kit, no full autopsy, no toxicology screening. Investigators said the train impact destroyed any chance of those tests being useful. But critics argue, shouldn't more effort have been made? After all, if Tiffany had been assaulted, drugged, or already dead, the signs may have still been detectable. Why wasn't it pursued? Another odd detail? An axe was found not far from the scene. Authorities dismissed it, saying it had no connection to the case. But its presence sparked theories of foul play. Was Tiffany chased? Was she assaulted? Did someone try to silence her? Also strange, the lack of security footage. Despite being near a public transportation route, there's no known footage of Tiffany near the tracks. Did someone pick her up? Was she driven there? To this day, that timeline remains blurry. In 2022, Tiffany's case was featured on Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries in an episode titled Mystery at Mile Marker 45. The exposure brought national attention and reignited public demand for answers. Thousands signed petitions calling for the case to be reopened. Independent experts, journalists, and true crime communities began digging deeper. But despite growing pressure, authorities have refused to change the official ruling. Why? So what really happened to Tiffany Valiante? Let's look at the leading theories. 1. Suicide. The official ruling. Investigators claim she left home upset and made a tragic decision. But with no history of mental health issues and a bright future ahead, this theory feels too convenient. 2. Foul play. The theory her family supports. Was she abducted, assaulted, dumped on the tracks to cover up a crime? 3. Accidental death. Some believe Tiffany was disoriented or under the influence, but again, no toxicology test was performed. No evidence supports this idea, and her behavior that day didn't suggest drug or alcohol use. The truth? No theory fully explains what happened, because the investigation, if you can even call it that, left far too many stones unturned. Tiffany Valiante's death is more than a tragedy. It's a case study in how justice can be denied, when questions go unasked and evidence goes ignored. Her parents continue to fight, not just for answers, but for accountability, for a second look, for the truth. Because they believe, and many agree, that someone out there knows more than they're saying. So we ask you, what do you think happened to Tiffany Valiante? Leave your thoughts below. And if you believe this case deserves justice, share this video and keep her story alive. Thanks for watching Mystery Unlocked. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning.